Well, I'm working on the design for a new rattlesnake walking stick. This one's going to be a Mojave green rattlesnake with a reverse helix shape to the body as it's climbing the shaft. I'm always trying to improve what I do, so after looking at a lot of pictures, I noticed that I was missing a few things on the head. So this time I'm going to try to make it more realistic. So the scales go something about like this. But I start with a 4-inch piece of wood so that whenever I get my shaft size, I've still got enough room to make a fairly thick rattlesnake with round edges. So I just keep going over it. You can see that, like right here, I still need to do some work on sloping that down a little bit. I'm going to take this saber tooth. This is called a whisper grit. Real fine grit burr, and I'm just going to smooth out the transition between where I've undercut the snake, yeah, so that it's all nice and rounded out through there. This is a diamond separating disc. It's really nice and thin, got these little saw edge teeth on it and the diamond edge around it. And I use that to get in underneath and clean up the shaft and straighten out this the under curve of the snake. I like how lodgepole gives these different growth rings and how you get a really interesting pattern. You can see that I've got the heartwood centered on it, and so that's what helps to get this pattern going. And I've gotten my knurled hand grip all finished up, and my head's shape with the wide jaws here. This will all be kind of carved in after I find out where the eyes are going. So this will kind of be narrower in here. But for now, what I need to do is decide what size of eye to make that based on my eye cutters, which I use spent shell casings, and I sharpen the edge of them up like a little saw. That actually is pretty close right there, 223. So I'm going to make it a 223 eye. These are some of the burrs that I use for finish work on the head details. These are called concave jade carving burrs, and I use them to kind of begin to round out the snake's eye. So this is the one that's about the right size for the eye I'm doing, and I'm just going to really start it, and then I'm going to use some other burrs that I have to really round it out. But this will get me started. So this is a rough diamond burr, and I use it to get in here and carve around the eyeball that I just smoothed out. So I dish that in right to the edge of the nostril. Just kind of flatten it out and bring it down to a depth of the eye there on that edge. This is the weird pattern that the Mojave green has on top of the head. It's not just a bunch of small scales. It's got some big ones and different variety of sizes. And I've redrawn them, and then I've taken a diamond burr and just kind of hollowed them out just a little bit. I will now take a little bitty inverted cone diamond burr, and I will begin to cut out the lines between the scales and sort of give them a shingled look. So I spent a couple of days and I created all of the specialized scales on the Mojave Green's head. It just takes patience and time, but I think that's come out pretty good. At least I know that these scales on top of the head are accurate to a Mojave Green rattlesnake. And then I've finished up the rattles, smoothed them out, and I'm ready now to start with a real fine, sharp wood burner blade and just identify the edges of these scales. I'll burn in there behind them and make them kind of like shingles on a roof. really like how the grain comes out in the lodge pole on top here. Really shows up nice. After this first coat dries, I'll put another coat on, and then it'll really pop. Well, I got it finished up. I've enjoyed this project a lot. I like how the grain showed up on it. It's got a really nice color to it. And I really enjoyed making the rattlesnake. This is made for a friend of mine, Jim Lozano. I hope he enjoys it. I'm pretty happy with the way the top of the head scales turned out. Got these little beady eyeballs in there. They look pretty mean. And yeah, I just like the coloration pretty good of these Mojave greens. And I really like these the brass ferrule and these hiking tips that I've been putting on lately. This thing screws off and you've got what they call a hiking tip. It's got a point on it. If any of you are interested in carving a rattlesnake walking stick yourself, I've made a whole book on it, how to carve a rattlesnake walking stick. And you can find it on Amazon, or I'll leave a link in the description. And I've also made a full tutorial video of the same project that you can watch if you learn better by watching video. You can download that on my website, stinettsticks.com. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and I really thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.